Hello everyone, I'm Rob or Shambler on YouTube. I'm a relatively new golfer from the US who's been getting into the game the past few seasons. I imagine, like a lot of you, I've gotten a lot out of Genevieve's content the past year, her wisdom and ability to keep the game fun. Despite becoming a little bit more serious about the game, I still love playing with family, friends, and the strangers you meet on the course. In fact, I think one of the more underrated things about golf is how you develop your empathy, humility, and forgiveness with yourself and with others. And more on the selfish side, golf is this insane platform to test yourself and your ability to focus and get into a flow state. So this year, I've gotten out about 50 or so times on the course and really enjoyed getting out to practice during the pandemic as well as a way to change things up. So I've gotten pretty good at the game in terms of hitting underneath 100 a few times and on trend to break 90. Most of the courses I play are municipal courses, about $20 to $30. You have a lot of options where I live, different types of parkland, woodland, even link style courses, which would be my favorite. I'm a draw style player. Definitely my common miss is a pull. My favorite shots would have to be wedge shots, the different type of pitching wedge, sand wedge, chips, pitches onto the green. One thing I struggle with is hitting driver and three wood off the tee so much so that I essentially just hit a 2 iron off the tee. I'm very comfortable just getting the ball out there about 200 yards, and I would rather see it go straight or land in the fairway just so I don't have to worry about trying to find it, especially on some of these courses where you're hitting in the woods. Um, so on most courses, I play from the white tees, although I am definitely capable of playing on the blues if I'm feeling good, if I'm very flexible that day and just am feeling good, I will definitely play from the blues as well. Um, the best shot of my life, I guess, would have happened earlier this summer. I mean, I've chipped in off the green a couple times. That was really fun, but it was a 40-yard pitch to an elevated green, and I used a sand wedge, what I felt to be more like a 60% shot, and it caught very nice flight, landed about 8 feet in front of the pin, and rolled right in and disappeared. And so those are the type of things I'm sure we all just love to live for with golf, and just to have that one sporadic moment that everything goes your way. But even when it doesn't, it's still an insane challenge, really fun, and something I look forward to more and more each day. And so I think the biggest shortcomings that you'll see in my swing are that I pick up my feet, I have a lot of lateral movement, and perhaps I don't shallow out enough of my swing plane, and I rely a lot on my arms. And so that's something I plan to do over the next year, strengthen my lower body, my flexibility, especially as I turn around and cover the ball. I think I rely on my arms a lot because I have a background in music and playing the drums, and so naturally I get very armsy and handsy. In general, I'm very excited to learn alongside all of you and would like to thank Genevieve for the opportunity. So here we go. So as you guys can see, I generally favor irons in my game, working a lot on hitting my 2 iron off the tee and have gotten pretty good at controlling it and getting it at least 200 yards out there. Um, but additionally, I do have the persimmon woods that go with this set as well. The 3 and the 1. I did have the 5 as well, but it's splintered. It's kind of just sitting in the garage for now. But these clubs are currently not in the bag, but I would like to work them in at some point. I just don't want to deal with some of the bad dispersion, and I kind of want to work on my swing before I delve into working on woods.
So Jen, this guy's got what we call octopus legs. Um, collapses his left knee, or his lead knee collapses inwards, gets everything stuck onto his right hip. Um, Looks very crunched at the golf ball. He needs a bit of structure work. His initial setup is a little lopsided, so it looks like his left shoulder's way outside his left hip. Something I don't like. Doesn't help. So definitely a little bit of postural work to start with, getting him set right, like a tiny reverse K look to start with, which means like a left side wall, a little bit of body shapes, like a reverse K if you look at it front on. And then basically learning to hold his left knee and left hip high as he's coming around on the backswing.
Hey guys, so for today's video, we are going to give a warm welcome to Rob. Thanks very much for sending in your videos. And so as you could see in the previous slide, I kind of showed you what Eric commented regards to your swing. And I'm just going to try to break it down a little bit to you. Obviously, I don't have the privilege of seeing Eric every single day, so we had to do a voice message for this. So I'll try to kind of explain what he was talking about. And I think one of the things that you realize is Eric also works a lot based on, so he doesn't give you very, very specific things. So, like, you can see that your club face, sorry, let me get a club. Like, actually, your club face also needs a bit of work at the back here. So, this is what square looks like. So, yours on top is actually not in the square position. But instead of focusing on that, he likes to focus on the reason why you do that, right? So he likes to work on the swing as a whole. And when you work on the swing as a whole, especially since you yourself said you're a relatively new golfer, it's going to slowly lead into the rest of your swing, which is great. And that's how you fix a swing problem. So that's what I really like about Eric as well. He doesn't just go specific. Obviously, he works with me for a long time, so he goes more specific. But for you, he said that you need some structural work. So let's see. Actually, I have that tree right behind me, so it's perfect. I thought, so basically, if this is a wall, well, I'll just put this here as an example as well. But you can stand next to a wall, so you can see that tree behind me actually is perfect. So what Eric says with regards to reverse K, you kind of have this way. So you see how this is like a K, like if I'm the line and then this is the K. So what you want to do is stand next to a wall and kind of feel this way. So your K should be actually this way rather than this way, if that makes sense. So if you stand next to a wall, it's more this way than this way. So obviously if there's a wall here, you can't go this way, right? And that's why he says some wall structural work. So that's something really easy that you can immediately do. Just stand next to a wall. And I think you automatically feel like, oh, I can't really stand properly because you're used to going more this way. So then just adjust, and you're not adjusting this way, okay? Like you're not putting the weight here. You're just adjusting from your top. It's going like this. So just a slight tilt. For you might feel like a quite severe tilt, but you're just feeling a slight tilt. So that's the first structural work that we're going to talk about. And the next thing that Eric talks about is something he calls octopus legs, which I thought was quite hilarious. I've never heard him say that. But I'm sure it's a problem that a lot of people have. And what he says with you is because your knee comes in so much this way, you get really jammed on this hip, which I can feel it too. If I just do this, all the weight is like in this hip, right? Which is not what you want, because when you do this, you kind of get stuck. So what he wants you to try to do is, to be honest, I don't know the best way to say this, but I'm going to say it from my perspective. So he says to hold your left feet and knee up. So I think what you want to feel, it's almost as if you are trying to hold this knee here, right? So you can even do this, right? Just hold your knee, swing out. So you will not be able to do this because you generally do this, right? So your hand would be moving with your knee. So try to hold your left hand on your left knee, push it out while you swing back. So this should be a very different feel for you. So we're not saying that we're trying to really go out. We're just holding this position more, which for you is going to feel quite drastic because you go about here. So you should be able to feel a more even balance, not so much pressure on your right hip, which I think you should feel. Well, let's just say you're a relatively new golfer, so you might not know what exactly it's supposed to feel like. But when I do this, I can immediately feel all my weight is on this hip, which is not what we want. So maybe just try to do a few. So stand next to the wall. Okay, I'll use the tree again. Next to the wall, make sure you have a K this way and not this way. Use your left hand, take some swings, push your knee out, and try to do some of that. Do some drills, hit some balls. Obviously, it's going to feel very odd at first, but it seems like you're someone who likes to work on your game. And I'm sure you're going to see lots of results if you do this. Let me know how it goes, what you think. I'm looking forward to see your progress. Thanks so much, Rob. And thanks again for joining this competition. And I hope this helps you and your golf game.